How long will you be visiting Grand Canyon? A question asked by this park ranger numerous times over 10 summers. If you only have 40 minutes, less than 1 hour, sit down and cry. Or watch this video.
Good morning. Geo Gypsy here, greeting you from the north rim of the Grand Canyon. You know, it just doesn't get much better than this. Well, not only is there the magic of the Grand Canyon, but it's a magical place. The whole drive is a magical place. We are headed south on State Route 89A. And today's destination is the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Not like I've never driven this road before. After working 10 summers on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, this is like going home. This is a beautiful forest, primarily ponderosa pine, although there's some Doug fir and a little bit of spruce thrown in at the highest points. We're not quite to yet. So you may note there's Forest Service roads here. Of course, that was access to the Arizona Trail. Most of these Forest Service roads, you just drive a little ways and you'll see obvious places to camp. I mean, this is forest and you're allowed to do 14-day boondocking or dispersed camping. I don't think this section of forest has gone for designated dispersed camping yet. You're going to see evidence of fire. Some of the lower trunks are even charred, but ponderosa pine is a very fire-resistant tree, so the tree will quite frequently survive, an older tree especially. So good, the forest needs thinning out really badly. And really the Kaibab National Forest has been working pretty hard to do that. Still got the snow poles up, I see, but now we are also entering a burn from 2006 called the Warm Fire. All fires are warm to hot. That's not why it's called that. Fires are named after some sort of a landmark where they began. Lightning strike. This was 2006 near Warm Creek, and thus Warm Fire. I don't remember how many acres, but it's about a 10-mile stretch of road we're going to drive here that does take us through the old burn. You can always see live trees out there, like on the ridgeline. They're what I call legacy trees because they didn't burn, and that means that they will help with regrowth here. The aspen, they're all popped up because they're the first to come back. The meadows. Patches of snow under the trees. I think that most people, I know my experience coming into the North Rim, that was like, 47 years ago, in the summer. It was either June or July, I would guess. You drive through the forest, you're headed to the Grand Canyon, which you know is kind of like layers of beautiful colors, rock, and a whole big deep hole in the ground. And then you drive through forest, and more forest, and bird forest, and more live forest, and curvy roads, and then, goodness, there's little patches of meadows in places as well, and more forest. And it's hard to believe that you're headed for the Grand Canyon. Hang in there. We'll see it. Stay with me. So on the left, we have a little bitty lake called Crane Lake. That was certainly worth the stop. All right, on the road, 23 miles to the North Rim. Cold here. This elevation, it was almost freezing last night, so I think it was around 34 degrees Fahrenheit up at this elevation. This is like 8,000 feet. Bear in mind, you could have trouble breathing if you're not accustomed to the elevation. And another big, beautiful meadow. I'm gonna start keeping your eyes out for wildlife now, although you might still see cows. These are likely spot for deer. Might be too late in the day for them out there grazing. You really want to watch out coming in at dawn or dusk, after dark, when you can't see anything but eye shine, because I would be losing count of how many deer could be out on these meadows. And then, over and above deer, there could be something even bigger. That sign. What was that mysterious silhouette animal? Can anyone guess? 10 years driving into the North Rim, almost the exact dates every year, in the end of April, early May. It looked different every time. Green meadows, meadows with flowers, full of water, running water, flowing water, snow, patches, or deep. Obviously, a little bit of me is choked up about coming in. It's been a while. After calling this place home for 10 summers, I'm going to try not to cry. Alright, now you'll see a hillside almost dead in front of us. It's also light green with aspen. That was the 2000 outlet fire. And 23 years later, you've got pretty tall aspen growing in the area. There's some Doug fir coming around here as well. You can probably tell how tall those aspen. I mean, those are like 30, 40 feet. Still looks pretty naked. Well, we're coming up to the left turn possibility out to Point Imperial and Cape Royal. And we will take that road later today. But my policy is always drive to the end first and work your way back. And, well, we're on a dead-end road because there's a huge ditch in front of us. Alright, you know you're almost at the top when you get the big U-turn curve. I don't know if you can see through the trees, a couple of the oldest of the hotels, they were actually dorm rooms when they were first built, but then got turned into hotel. Alright, well, parking lot on the left. So I see the oversized parking is not full. So we'll go in and take a look and see what we can do. No camping or sleeping overnight in vehicles. Okay, I didn't plan to do that here. Good, big rig got their space. There's not a lot of oversized parking in this lot. If you can usually pay attention and back in. I am actually going to pull over here on the right, and looks like the branches have all been trimmed up pretty high, so it should be okay. Let's go for a walk. All right, we're finally at the north rim of the Grand Canyon now. I'm gonna try this, shooting myself talking. This is a trail we used to do a nature walk on. And we're actually over here to the side through the trees. Maybe you can see it. Let's not me fall off while I share a look down into, that'd be Roaring Springs Canyon down below. All right, but back on the trail here. And you know I'm no good at this selfie stuff, so I'm stopping. I'll share more, but not with me in it. Better views ahead. They took the numbers down? Oh no, the 305. Remember this one? I think I've had lunch on this porch. You're gonna have to start to trim down the oak or you won't be able to see the canyon at all. Alright, well, there you are. The iconic view from the north rim of the Grand Canyon. You get the three temples here. Looking across to the south and smoke, yep, by Red Butte. San Francisco peaks on the horizon. My shirt or jacket because it's 61 degrees. But I'm about to take you for a walk and you're going to see a view that will knock your socks off. So unbelievable. Twice at this overlook all to myself. Wahoo! What a special treat. Right out here to the end of the line. Look at that. It's a rare occurrence at Point Imperial, and I have the entire overlook to myself. So we're going to go clockwise here. And as I come around here to Saddle Mountain, that ought to be obvious. Beyond that is the Marble Plateau. We just drove across that one yesterday. Way in the distance is the Vermilion Cliffs. We were driving basically at the bottom of those. And then coming around again, we're still looking at the Marble Plateau, but now we're looking at Echo Cliffs. And you might remember Echo Cliffs as well from the drive yesterday. Okay. We're looking almost due south. The big point, that's Mount Hayden. And then off in the far distance, again, you'll see another bit of plateau. Yeah, well, that we were there on the other side of the Grand Canyon. As we continue around, the forested point you see here is called the Walhalla Plateau. And we're going to actually drive out onto the Walhalla Plateau. It's really hard to walk on these rocks. All right. And you can still see a little bit of snow. I think we're going to make it all the way around here, past some forested area, onto the overlook. Look at that. Hot dang, we got it to ourselves. 360 Point Imperial. Pretty cool. to take a quick peek here because it's Greenland Lake. Greenland Lake is actually another one of the sinkholes, like we saw coming in on the drive towards the park, coming across the meadows. I brought a friend down here one time, and I mean, literally, I said, oh, we'll stop at Greenland Lake, and there was absolutely no water. Another amazingly beautiful view. Very different, okay? Because now, that point, I think that's called Bradley Peak, something like that, right? And we were just over, let's see if I can get a better shot of that. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Okay, Saddle Mountain. And right in front of that, right there, Mount Hayden. We were just looking at that from Point Imperial. Okay, so many different views. It's kind of northeast, east across the Marble Plateau. Remember we drove across that. It's so amazing, all the different ways to see the canyon. There's no bad views. This is the parking lot for Cape Royal. This is one of my more favored views of the Grand Canyon. Maybe you'll agree. Well, or maybe you disagree. You should let me know in a comment down below what's your favorite view of the Grand Canyon. We were just looking at this from the other side, and I said, don't forget. Wotan's Throne. And Cape Royal. Welcome to the Cape Royal Trail. Go out and see if it looks like it might be a good sunset. All right, once again, I can't hardly believe it, but I have Cape Royal overlook all to myself. Sun's getting lower, sending those last rays across canyon. It's pretty cool. Leaving Cape Royal. Not for the faint-hearted. Okay. And here we come to the cool mirror. And it looks like nobody's coming up. Yay! Really needs to trim back some bushes. They're growing over the fog line, which means big rigs, you know, they're riding on the center line. I am. All right, we are going to make a stop here at the Walhalla Overlook. Let's go for a walk. I love how most of these overlooks at the Grand Canyon, at least on the North Rim, you walk through all kinds of forests and trees. Look at this big snag. Wow. Home for a lot of creatures. I would call that a birdie condo. Nice place to perch too. And here we are looking out at Sky Island again. Yep, there we are looking down into the Grand Canyon. So where that river, piece of the river is, I'll zoom in again. Okay, you can see over there, this goes around a curve. Well, the land to the right of that curve is the Ankar Delta.
The Ancora Delta also has ruins on it. So the ancestral Puebloans were living here a long time ago. It's called Walhalla Glades because we're on the Walhalla Plateau. What it is the footprint of summer housing. They wouldn't have lived up here in the winter because the snow would get way too deep. And there would have been several of these small structures, families spending their, probably just overnighting because it gets cold at night. There's other sites out here in the forest that are just not, I mean, they're documented, but that's it. The Archies haven't really exposed them. This one was close to the road, so that was convenient. The most unusual thing about this site is this very large rock on the end. That is uncommon, and you can actually see a line down low, that first row of rock. You probably dig down and go deeper, so this would have been excavated and then backfilled. Most of the time, entrances were not on ground level. The walls would have been over our heads, and you would have had a ladder that you would have climbed and then entered your room from the top. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here at Walhalla Overlook. It's always been one of my favorites, and it's the last stop I'm going to make in the park before I continue my journey north. I hope you'll join me for more places along the way, stories to be told, and if you like this, well, I certainly hope you'll like it. Subscribe. Let me know what you liked, okay? I really need the help.
Well, I'll be honest with you, it's really hard to say goodbye to the Grand Canyon. After having worked here for 10 summers, the place calls me back all the time. But it's not going anywhere, so I'll be back again, I'm sure. In the meantime, it's been a great visit, and I am a happy camper.